Sorry. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Am I audible clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Kindly mute your mic so that we can start the session. Yes. Thank you, everyone. So today we are going to discuss on the topic commercial banking. What is it and what are the various functions of commercial banking? Okay. So this kind of a banking system basically provides services to individuals, small businesses, or even large organizations. So they deal with money and in terms of accepting the deposits and sanctioning the loans and advances to the people who are in need. So that is the main task of commercial banks. Other than that, they also give extra services like in terms of give a collection of checks, then services like uh, evaluating the business plans, services like transfer of funds, right? So there are many kinds of services today being given by these banking institutions. So what kind of it's a combination of many different kinds of services what these people are giving. So that is the reason the word has come up, commercial banking. Commercial banking means you are trying to satisfy the maximum number of people by giving them facilities or services. So the main role of this commercial banking system is basically to encourage savings habit in the people. So the more and more they encourage and they motivate people to save their money in banks, ultimately the banks have good number of deposits with them, which that money can be utilized for some other purposes. So they try to inculcate the savings habit among people, and ultimately funds are created for the banks which can be used productively, maybe in terms of investing in small businesses, giving loans to organizations, giving loans to individuals, or investing in projects, investing in mutual funds, right? So to make profits ultimately. Then that is one purpose of commercial bank. Another purpose is it acts like a mediator between the people who are having surplus money and the people who are not having money or requiring money. See, there are rich people, there are poor people. So rich people have too much of money, and poor people, they are in need of money. So this bank acts as a intermediary, or I can say a mediator between these two people, fulfilling the demands of both. So here they accept deposits from the rich people and give the same deposits as loans to the poor needy people. So that is also a part of a banking business activity. Then comes another purpose, that is it facilitates the business transactions through receipts and payments by checks, especially instead of currency. Instead of using hard money, you are using checks here, or you are even using mobile banking or internet banking, where you are transferring the funds from one person to another person's account. So that is one more purpose what these commercial banks are giving us. It provides loans and advances to business people so that they can expand their businesses, they can grow their businesses. So that facility is also given to business organizations. That is one more role what this commercial bank plays. It also helps in facilitating the companies for export import businesses. There are banks who are giving services like what I can say, evaluating the projects, right? So for example, an Indian company wants to start or invest in a project abroad, they don't know anything about it. Here, the banks give services like they appraise those projects. They check whether the projects are genuine. They check whether the projects are going to be beneficial in future or not. So by appraising and checking into the feasibility of investment, they suggest their business, these business organizations, whether to go and invest there or not to invest there. So such kind of extra services, research services are also given by banks nowadays, especially for export import businesses. Exim Bank is one such example which is hugely into this, which actually gives this kind of information to the business organizations, helping them whether to go ahead with abroad business activities. So that is one more role I can say this commercial bank plays. Uh, Ultimately, the main goal of any banking system or any bank of any country is national development. So they have to contribute to the national development. So whenever the government needs money for certain projects or to bring out some developmental programs for the citizens of the country, banks are the one who fund those projects. Okay, so in terms of some, I'll just give an example. For example, farmers, right? So credit facilities to farmers, loan facilities to small scale industries, self-employment for them, you sanction loans based on their business plans. PMRY, that is Prime Minister, sorry, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana, under that, many individuals are being given loans so that they can start up their own businesses and become self-employed. So that is one more facility these commercial banks are giving. So ultimately, what is happening is when they are giving these facilities to individuals to stand on their legs, to start up their businesses, to improve on their industries, then for farmers also, uplifting the farmers also, ultimately somewhere it results into the country's development. Okay, economic development of the country is what is the result you get. So that is one more role these commercial banks play. Other than that, I can say directly or indirectly, commercial banks actually raise the standard of living of the people. I still remember when Narendra Modi had announced zero balance Jan Dhan Yojana scheme. Okay, so people, he gave a statement in one speech where he said people are having so much of self-respect that they don't want to keep their accounts empty with zero balance. They have deposited money where initially around 5,000 crore rupees was collected just through this Jan Dhan accounts. Okay, so the money will be there. Ultimately, that is what is inculcating the habit of savings. So when the people start saving money in their accounts, ultimately the standard of living increases. They have money, they gain confidence because they are having money in their accounts. So by this is one more way of creating that self confidence in the people. Then as I was talking about standard of living, even nowadays, certain banks are giving facilities, financial banks especially are giving facilities to as loans for buying consumer durables like washing machine, television, fridge, refrigerators, houses, automobiles, etc. So by giving these kind of loans, no, people are easily able to afford these consumer durables as well as automobiles. So a person who was not having any money can now afford a two-wheeler, but he has to pay the installments to the bank here. Ultimately, somewhere their standard of living has improved nowadays due to these facilities. So that is what is the commercial banking system does here. So we'll just look into the classification of commercial banking. So basically, we are interested more on this scheduled banking system. Okay, and under scheduled bank, we have public sector and we have private sector here. So public sector, your SBI, other nationalized banks under government, and regional rural banks. This is RRB is regional rural banks. So they come under that category. Under private sector, we have Indian private banks and foreign banks, right? So these are, this is a simple classification, what you find for commercial banks. So don't worry about this non-scheduled. Non-scheduled are nothing but indigenous bankers. They are private bankers. They are not registered anywhere else. Yeah. So this is a 7-mark question, which normally 10 marks or 7 marks question, which normally comes for the exam. What are the main functions these commercial banks do? So they have been categorized into primary, secondary, and utility functions. So when we talk about primary functions, what is the basic primary function of any bank? Can anybody tell me?
Accepting of deposits and lending of
Yes.
loans.
This is the basic primary function of any banks. Accepting deposits and sanctioning loans and advances to the individuals or business organizations, whatever it is. So the basic primary objective of any commercial bank is to accept the deposits. And these deposits can be in the form of fixed deposits, savings deposits, current deposits, and recurring deposits. So what are these fixed deposits? You deposit, if you have, let us say, like you have 10,000 rupees, you deposit it as a fixed deposit in the bank for a certain period of time. Let us say like 1 year. Okay, so 1 year, the deposit, what you have, 10,000 rupees, what you have deposited, it will be fixed for 1 year, and interest rate will be given on that amount to you people for the 1 year. Of course, in certain cases for emergency, if you want, you can always, there is a facility of withdrawing your money. Guys, please understand, when you are depositing the money to the banks, it is a written rule or unwritten rule, I can say, on demand, the bank is supposed to give you back your money. They cannot give any excuse. They cannot say that they are not able to give the money because the term is not yet completed, right? Even though it is a fixed deposit, if you want the money, if you are in need of the money and you have to go and demand it, ultimately it is the duty of the bank to fulfill your requirement. That is, they have to give your money back to you on demand. So fixed deposit is normally for a certain time period, 10 year, and for that interest is being paid by the bank here. So the depositor will get the interest here. Then we have savings deposits. We have savings bank account, right? SB account. So there minimum balance has to be maintained. So let us say 1,000 rupees minimum balance has to be. Jandan scheme account scheme is zero balance. For regular SB accounts, no, minimum 1,000 rupees balance should be there. All those conditions will be there. So there, whatever amount has been deposited in your account, in your savings account, those are savings deposits. The interest rate compared to fixed deposits, it will be very less for these savings deposits. Okay, so anytime you can withdraw the money without any problem here. So you have to just put up the check, or you can use ATMs, or you can transfer the funds, or even you can go for a withdrawal here if you don't have a check. So using these what I can say tools, you can withdraw your money at any given point of time. So the balance, what you can see in the savings deposits, it can be founded on updation of your passbooks, right? Then comes your current deposits. A current account is something which is for business people, because why that word current is, every now and then they will be depositing money, they will be withdrawing money. So it is called as a current account. The deposits in current account are called as current deposits. Normally, for this current deposits, interest rates are not given. Okay, so depending upon the kind of business activities, deposits are done by the business people there, and every day, maybe 2-3 times they come and deposit, 2-3 times they may come and withdraw also. So such facility is given on the current accounts, and whatever money the business class people are going to deposit in this current account, that is called as a current deposit. Yes. Then we have RD, that is recurring deposits. So every month you deposit certain sum of money in the bank, okay, for a certain tenure. Let us say like 1 year scheme, RD scheme I have taken, and for 1 year, every month I'm going to go and deposit 1,000 rupees. So that is a recurring deposit scheme. After 1 year, with certain interest rate, the bank gives me back my account. Fixed deposit means one wholesome money you are going to go and deposit. Recurring deposit means small amounts you are going to deposit every month, and that amount you will get it after the tenure is completed. So that is a recurring deposit. So the main purpose or primary purpose of any bank is basically to accept the deposits. And here is where the banks get their funds. Okay, so you must have seen whenever there is an year end, that is your closing of year end during March, April, and all, banks start accepting as much as deposits as possible. Okay, so during November, December, and all, they push the customers to go for loans, right? Why? They want to show their balance sheets clean, they want to ensure that it is balanced properly, they want to show that non-performing assets are not many. So there are many things which will be going on in the banks, especially at year end, which they need to balance up. So they push the people especially to deposit money as much as possible here. So that is this is how the banks get their funds for investment. Then the second primary function is loans and advances. Okay, so loans and advances are something which are given to the people who are in need for various purposes. It can be to buy a car, it can be to it can be for buying a vehicle, it can be for buying a house, a land, right? Even for consumer durables. Today you can even get loans for marriages, right? And then we have education loans, we have business loans wherein you want money for investment, right? So various kinds of loans are being provided by the banks, and these loans are normally for a specific time period. So normally a loan is something which is being provided by the commercial banks for a short term period. Advance is something which is a kind of a credit facility provided by the bank to its customers. It differs from loan, especially in the sense that later may be granted for a longer period of time. Okay, so advances are normally for a very short period of time. Loans, let us say like you take a housing loan, 25 years also some companies provide you, 10 years. That is how the length of the period will be. But advances, credit facility normally is given on current accounts. I told you, no, current accounts, their advances facility is given, and it is hardly for a very short term period. Why it is, let us say your current account does not have enough money to, it has only 1 lakh, but you want 1,10,000 rupees, right? So 10,000 rupees you take advance to meet your day-to-day routine requirements of the business. 1 lakh is already there, plus 10,000 extra advance you are going to take from the bank. But within few days, maybe 1 or day, 2 day, 3 day, time period is fixed. Within that day, that 10,000 rupees has to be paid back to the bank. And for that 3 or 4 days, whatever you have taken, no, interest rate will be charged by the bank. So advances are normally for a short term period. Then we have cash credit account. So this kind of arrangement is especially given from on the current account itself. It is an arrangement wherein bank allows the borrower to withdraw an amount up to a specified limit, right? So in current account, what happens, business people, they will be in need of a money to clear their bills every now and then. So the banks will give that credit facility on those accounts where a limit is sanctioned to them. To the maximum, you can withdraw extra amount from the bank for around 2 lakh rupees. So how will they fix that 2 lakh rupees? It will be fixed based on the worth of the business, okay, and their transactions. So the bank will do that. So that limit is specified, and whenever the borrower needs the money in that specified limit, he can always withdraw cash from the bank. The money is credited to the account of the customer here. The interest will be charged on only amount which is withdrawn. So let us say to run my business, every day minimum of 5 to 10 lakh rupees of transaction is happening. So the bank, what it will do, it will deposit around 10 lakh rupees money in my account, right? And this is a kind of a cash credit system. Okay, so it will deposit that money in my account. Whenever the business person wants some money, maybe for working capital or maybe to fulfill some other purposes, he will withdraw the amount. his limit will be only 10 lakh rupees. Let us say today I need only 2 lakh rupees. I have withdrawn that 2 lakh rupees. Interest will not be charged on all the 10 lakh. It will be charged on only which is being withdrawn from my account. That is a cash credit system. So amount is specified, the limit is specified there, and you can withdraw the amount from the from your account, but interest rate will be only charged on the amount you have withdrawn. It is a kind of a loan only, which is deposited in your account, but interest rate will be charged on only whatever you have withdrawn. But it does not, the same thing does not happen with housing loans and vehicle loans there. Okay, so this cash credit account is a facility given for business people. Then we have overdraft facility. As the name itself tells you, over, okay, that means more than what is there in your account. So in the overdraft facility, what happens is the account holder withdraws more money from the bank, from his account, than it is deposited in it, right? Let us say in my account there is 10 lakh rupees. For some bill clearance, I need 15 lakh rupees, right? That extra 5 lakh rupees, I will withdraw it from my account if I have a overdraft facility. So business people request the bank for overdraft facility well in advance. But for this overdraft facility, the business people have to keep some securities. Securities like an LIC policy, mutual fund certificates, share certificates, debentures. So such kind of mortgages have to be done, and based on that, an overdraft limit is fixed. Okay, so more than your account, you can withdraw extra 5 lakh rupees. Something like this is being fixed up by the bank, and the business person will be able to withdraw more money if required from his account. But as I said, interest rate will be charged on that overdraft amount, right? That this is one more primary function what these banks give you. So we'll continue with the secondary functions. These are very interesting other functions which are being done by the bank for the customers. So the first one is the agency services. Normally, this collection, payment of checks and bills on behalf of the customers is being done here, right? So they collect the checks, they pay the checks. Then if at all, let us say like you have a landline telephone at your home, you can directly link it with the bank, and every month whatever bill is there is being deducted from your own account. So on behalf of the customers, bills are being paid by the banks. So this is one more secondary function. Then we have collection of dividends, interest, rent on behalf of customers if instructed by them. So let us say you have invested in shares, right? Every year you end up in getting certain dividends or interest on your FD, fixed deposits, right? You are getting monthly rent. So all this collection can be done by the bank on request. Then the bank also gives a facility of purchase and share of purchase and sale of shares and securities on behalf of the customers. Then we have subscriptions. Hope many of you sitting at home nowadays, you have subscribed to Netflix, Amazon Prime, and all such kind of channels. Every month, automatically the amount gets deducted from your account. So subscriptions, right? Then if insurance premium is there, you can pay the insurance premium through your account, right? All these, but yes, of course, the customer, the person who is holding that account has to give standing orders, right? So other than that, even executing standing orders is there, but we'll discuss that later. The bank also acts as a trustee, right? So let us say, for example, a family has huge money, and there is no let us say the parents have died and the child is very small, he is not even reached 18 years. Till he reaches 18 years, the bank will hold all the assets, the money and everything on behalf of that small child as a trustee, right? That is one more way of, I can say, giving facilities to its customers. Then it executes the standing orders. Okay, so let us say the court has ordered something, right? The bank has every right to execute those orders. So it also plays a role of a executor. It acts as an agent. Okay, it acts as an agent or a correspondent on behalf of customers for other banks and financial institutions, home and abroad. So let us say if you are having a SBI account in India, okay, and you have shifted to Singapore for some business purpose, you want to withdraw money there. Okay, so you don't have a SBI account there, so you can contact a correspondent bank there in Singapore who is associated with SBI. That correspondent bank will help you to get money or will help you to carry your banking instructions. Okay, so that is one more facility these banks will be giving you. Then we have something called as bill of exchange and promissory notes. Okay, so promissory note is something wherein you just promise people that so much of amount is to be given. I'll just tell you a small story. During olden days, Surat is known for what business? Anybody? Surat.
Maybe diamond.
Yes. Who is that?
Srinidhi, sir.
Srinidhi. Very good, Srinidhi. Surat is actually known for diamond business. Earlier days, what used to happen is with the diamonds, they used to send a small chit written, so much worth of diamonds are there. This is the amount which is supposed to be paid. Finished. That small chit was like a surety, and the transaction used to happen between the buyers and sellers. But later, after few years, there were frauds which were happening. Okay, so due to which the Diamond Association of Surat, they came into they brought out a rule that a promissory note has to be used when transactions are happening. So this promissory note is like a contract, okay, with all the details of terms and conditions, wherein one party promises the other party to pay a certain sum of amount. Okay, so you are promising the person that you are going to pay this money on so and so date or before so and so date, and this promissory note can hold true in the court of law. Okay, so the obligation will be there to repay back the money whatever was being borrowed here, and if in case the person fails, the other person can go to the court and ask for justice here. So that is what is the promissory note. We have bill of exchange here. So bill of exchange is a kind of a written order to pay the money to the payee. What I can say, especially when two companies, one company which is a foreign company, another company is an Indian company, when both the people come into a business transaction, this bill of exchange comes into picture here. So here it is a kind of a written order by one person to his bank to pay the bearer a specific sum of amount on a specific day in future. So let us say Indian company has dealt with some foreign company for some raw materials. They have asked for raw materials. So the bill of exchange is something which is issued by the buyer, that is the Indian company, from his bank. And this bill of exchange is given to the seller here. So it is written in the bill of exchange that on so and so date, once I receive the raw materials, your amount is going to be paid by this bank. So if the seller will go and deposit that bill of exchange to the bank, ultimately the amount is being paid by the bank himself. Right? So we will be discussing more on bill of exchange in the coming days, because one whole half of a unit is there on bill of exchange itself. So I don't want to go too deep into that topic. So that is about one more secondary function of banking system. Then one more very interesting secondary function is safe deposits or safe custody, right? So most of you people who are having you can go and ask your parents, they are having safe custody accounts in the banks, wherein you can keep your valuable items. Okay, so you can take a locker in the bank where you can keep your valuable items, papers, gold, silver, diamond, money, even whatever is there. A small space or a small box is given to you people in your name. You can go and deposit it for a safe custody, right? So that is one more facility being given by the bank as a secondary function. Then issue of letter of credits, again it is just like a bill of exchange, and this also works in international trade. Let us not go into too detail with letter of credit. Okay, then other than that, I was talking about safe custody as a utility function. Then we have this remittance of funds. Okay, so remittance of funds is, apart from accepting the deposits and lending money, the banks also carry out on behalf of their customers, like transferring the money both to foreign accounts or domestic accounts or from one place to another, right? So this activity is called as remittance of funds here. So especially NEFT and RTGS and all, they come under remittance of funds here. Then DD, let us say you people are paying the fees for the college, DD comes into picture, demand draft. So that facility is also being provided. Then this mail transfers is nowadays not so much popularly used. You just have to send a mail to the bank regarding giving information or instruction that this much amount has to be transferred to this account. So based on your instruction from the mail, the bank will transfer that amount to the specific account. Then we have electronic mode. So here internet banking comes into picture. That service is also being provided. Then issuing letter of credit, we'll discuss that later. Payment of pension. Okay, so many government banks, government undertaking banks, nationalized banks, they are in charge of providing pensions to the people. So their pension comes and gets deposited in their accounts in these banks, and wherein the people can come and withdraw their pensions. Then other than that, even for government transactions, that is for projects, okay, or if the government has certain things, I'll just give a best example here. The subsidy amount of cylinders get credited to our accounts automatically by the government, right? So that is what is government transaction example. So let us say if a farmer is getting some benefit from the government, 5,000 rupees allowance, because his whole land was being washed away in floods or something like that, government has sanctioned 5,000, so automatically it get deposited in the farmer's account. So even for this purpose also, banks will give facilities, right? So these are some utility functions which you can find, or tertiary functions, I can say, which you can find being given by the banks. Yes, any doubts till now? Anybody, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So what we'll do is hardly 1 minute is left. So we will end this meeting and we'll start with a new meeting where I will be discussing on role of banks in the economy. So kindly exit and rejoin with the same ID and password.